Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters of the week. Thought I would mix in one of these while I'm doing my other new series, the Mysteries and Oddities. This particular random suggestion, again just clicking on the random page within the cryptids.wikia.com website, came up with another one of my beloved lumberjack folklore cryptids. If you've known me for a while, you know that I've covered several other of these infamous lumberjack creatures within North America, including others like the slide rock bolter, and then I think there was one involving the snake, the whooping snake, the one that has the ability to curl into a hula hoop of some sort. So this one is another fascinating one. Who knows how true this particular creature is or was, if it's still around at least to this day. Lots of fantastical stuff associated with it. It has to do with a creature that lives in Florida known as the Snallygaster, which you're looking at a picture of here. So instantly you see that it has some kind of very distinctive, I guess, items with it. There's the fact that it looks like your average crocodile, but it has a very large spike, just one spike protruding from its back. And then if the folklore is continued on this creature, then it has a very distinctive tail. At the end of it, three bony plates of some sort that protrude that just coincidentally look just like your average propeller of some sort. And apparently that is not by accident. So I'll explain that here in a few minutes. So what is the Snollygoster? Again, it's a creature that's found around Lake Okeechobee there in Florida. It's been around there for quite some time, ever since the lumberjack folklore tales. So we're talking about a good time back whenever, let's say, America was still being founded and lots of people moving out into the frontier. Specifically, if you go towards that lake, it's found in the swamps near the southern areas. So if you ever happen to be, let's say, around that location there at the lake Okeechobee, then if you're in the swamps areas, you might have a chance of seeing this creature. From afar, at least, the characteristics of it, it looks just like your average crocodile. It has the distinctive mouth of a crocodile. It has the length of a crocodile almost, although this creature is said to be about maybe three sized men lying down, so maybe a really large crocodile, but still it looks from afar like your average crocodile. Of course, going to its most distinct, unique features, there's the fact that it has that spike. The reason that it has that spike is this creature is clearly a carnivore. It absolutely loves eating and hunting for meat. And in this case, at least for us, unfortunately, it tends to prefer human flesh. So that spike, that particular spike on the back of its back, it's there for a reason. So if this creature is on the hunt for a human and it sees one from afar and it attacks it, then the way it functions is it'll use either its tail or its mouth or maybe even the environment around it. The whole point is it'll take that person and impale them on the spike. And the way the story goes is it'll not do it just once, but it'll do it several times. So several unlucky victims could be caught on that spike, one on top of the other. Let's say if it had a good, successful hunt. And then it uses that spike to, I guess, move elsewhere to wherever it keeps its closest thing to, let's say, hunting grounds, where it keeps all of its carcasses. Whenever it's ready to actually feast, then it does this. It uses that propeller-like tail, the one that has those three bony plates off of on the let's say on the sides of it. It uses it first to take the now dead humans off of its spike, and then it uses that tail to drill some kind of hole in the ground. It pushes the bodies into that particular hole, and then it uses that tail one more time to grind all the victims into one single, I guess, mass of food altogether. So think of it that way. So the spike, it's almost like a shish kebab. It has people placed on top of it, and then it goes to its hunting grounds. It takes the people off the spike, drills a hole, pushes the people within it, and then it uses that tail to grind them into a pulp, and then that's how it eats them. There's even the idea that sometimes it even inhales the victims, like whatever that pulp is made out of those carcasses. Then it either eats it directly or it inhales them as well, and that's how it eats. Also, with regards to that propeller-like tail I was mentioning earlier, that's not by accident. That's how it uses to move. And the reason for this is this: it has another very distinct feature. It has no legs. It has no legs, and it has no fins. So there's nothing presumably on its entire length of body that it can use to move around in the waters, but it does have that propeller-like tail, because the whole idea is it wiggles its tail back and forth, most likely in a very fast motion. And if it does it fast enough, then it's almost like twisting and turning it just like a propeller. And so sure enough, that is the way that it moves within the water. So how neat, how intricate is that? Of course, with having no kind of legs, it cannot cross on any kind of land, but due to its apparent high success rate, and let's say hunting, it may not need to. It just simply, like most other crocodiles, just waits in the water and then has prey come upon it, and then that's when it does its attack. What's also, I guess, another thing to note with regards to this creature is the fact that it was used way back when as a kind of method to prevent slaves at the time there in Florida from running away. Apparently the whole notion was there in that area, unfortunately, when it was during the bad times in America, and let's say we had people with slaves that they had either in their farmlands or in this case in their swamplands. Well, they had prone of escaping, and so whenever that occurred, it seemed like there was a myth of sorts created with the Snollygoster, and it was telling those slaves that if they ran away, let me tell you a story about what happened to one of the slaves. Apparently there was a Mr. Inman Eldridge. He was telling his slaves that he was hunting a runaway slave there in the swamps of Florida, and then he saw this slave from a distance, almost like the poor slave was dead, impaled on some kind of either a tree or some kind of stump of some sort by accident. And so when he went up to the slave to try to get the body, that's when this tree or whatever it was started to move, this spike that it was on. And then that's when he noticed that it was truly, in this case, a unique creature that had the slave on its spike. And so this guy, this Mr. Eldridge, was using this particular tale for his other slaves, telling them this is what happens if you decide to run away. So bad times, of course, during that period within America, and then this creature, it may have even just been created, the myth of it, to try to keep, in this case, others from escaping. So just another area to mention with regards to the Snallygaster. But that's it. That's everything that I have with regards to this unique creature. If anyone has any more information about it, I'm sure if someone knows relatives or maybe people that have lived near that area in Lake Okeechobee, Florida, if you know about this folklore creature, about this lumberjack creature, please post those comments below. That'd be really interesting to hear. Again, I love covering these specific creatures because of their almost fantastical traits within the cryptid world. So, alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care.